Well, City on a Hill is a thrilling new Showtime series starring Kevin Bacon that debuted just a few weeks ago. It's a gritty look at crime in Boston in the early 1990s.
And Boston-born actor Jere Shea co-stars and brings real authenticity to his role as Hank CIGNA, a Massachusetts state police detective. But his personal story is also fascinating, and Jere is here in studio with us tonight. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Great to have you here. So first of all, let's talk about the show. And for anyone who hasn't had a chance to catch it yet or wants to catch up, what's it all about?
It's about a guy from New York. He's an African-American DA, comes into Boston. He wants to clean up the city. He's having a lot of difficulty trying to do that. He makes this with an unlikely alliance with Kevin Bacon. His character is an FBI agent who's revered but corrupt. And so this unlikely alliance is really what drives the plot forward.
And you play the state police detective, Hank CIGNA. What's his deal in the role?
Hank is a guy who runs the detective unit for the Suffolk DA's office, and so he kind of goes out and recruits really talented people like Rachel Benham, who's played by Jere Shea, and the DA is actually Aldous Hodge, by the way. So he kind of puts together a team of people that are going to be the henchmen out there to try to get the information that the DA's office needs to convict people.
And we should say we had you come in this week because this is when Hank CIGNA's plot line really heats up. Right, the episode that ran Sunday night and is continuing for the next couple of weeks. Is there anything that you can reveal about it without giving it away, or how did you feel the character was fleshed out? Did you enjoy it?
I think it really is, for me, I've been excited about it because, you know, I've been in it from the beginning, a year and a half ago from the time we shot the pilot in Boston till now, and the workload just steadily increased through, right? And by episode 5, I said, gee, I really feel like I'm, you know, closer to the center line of the narrative of this story, too. But it really is just about being able to make a difference in the storyline in terms of bringing key information when it's needed, helping to make a decision. So he's a guy who serves to kind of balance out Kevin Bacon's character.
He's a bit of a hothead, and you're the guy saying, calm down.
Yeah, a little bit cooler, right? Kind of the bad angel, good angel on Aldous Hodge's shoulders, you know. So you'll see over time how that comes to a head.
Your personal story is pretty remarkable. Paula and I have talked about this. You went to BC, then NYU. You went right into Broadway, starring in Broadway right out of NYU. You were nominated for a Tony Award for Passion, but then you and your wife had twins, and you decided, I think I'm going to stop. It's too much travel. It's too much work. I want to be a dad. Can you tell us about that decision?
Exactly. You know, I was very fortunate to have work right out of school. It's one of those things where you get to go to a great school, and it's location. You're in New York, so people do get to see your work by the time you finish. So I was fortunate and blessed in that way. And then, you know, a big blessing of having twins, almost right from the start, too, with my wife. And we just realized that, you know, the more success I had, the more travel I had, and the less I would see my family. And there was a period of, a couple times, but the last time that I went on out sort of for an out-of-town tryout for a show, we were in I was in San Diego, and I'm sorry, I was in San Francisco, this one, but I came back home, and my kids were about 3 and a half, and they thought that I no longer lived with them. So I put my guitar, I always travel with guitar and my bags, and the car dropped me off at the house, and they said, "You going to stay over tonight, Dad?" You know, and I said, "No, I'm staying," and I just promised them I wouldn't leave again that way.
It is amazing. So for 20 years, you and your family, you moved back here to Massachusetts. Right. You walked away from the business, and you worked in various other fundraising and other industries. Was there ever a concern, though, at some point that you thought, I might not be able to get back into this business?
You know, I really looked at it like I had divorced myself from the business. I wasn't planning on going back. There was something in my heart, you know, it's what I was meant to do, but I realized long ago that just because you're meant to do something doesn't mean you can't do something else really well, too. And for me, my priority has been to support my family and take care of things at home. But, you know, so I never really looked at it like I'm getting further away from it. But I knew, you know, through the years, friends would call and ask if I was interested in doing something, and it just wasn't the right time.
We certainly hope it gets renewed and that there are more seasons, and we'll watch the evolution of Hank CIGNA.
That's
the
great.
State police detective over the next
exciting stuff. Thank you so much.
Jere Shea from City on a Hill. Go watch it on Showtime, and we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's about to get